June 11, 2025. This week, tennis legend Chris Evert made headlines by declaring Serena Williams the undisputed GOAT. When an 18-time Grand Slam champion, who played against multiple generations of tennis legends, makes this call, it's time to ask, what makes Serena's case for greatest of all time so undeniable? Today, we're breaking down the superhuman achievements that support Evert's declaration.
Chris Evert's opinion carries unprecedented weight because she has the historical perspective and competitive credibility to make such judgments. She won 18 Grand Slams, held the world #1 ranking, and played against every generation of tennis legends. When someone with that resume calls Serena the undisputed GOAT, it's based on first-hand knowledge of what elite tennis looks like across multiple eras.
Let's examine what made Serena Williams untouchable. Dr. Chen, paint us the picture of Serena at her absolute peak.
When Serena Williams stepped onto a tennis court at her peak, something primal happened. You could see it in her opponent's eyes, that moment when they realized they weren't just playing tennis, they were about to face a force of nature. Her serve alone was terrifying, 128.6 miles per hour rockets that would explode off the court like thunder. Picture this, you're across the net, the most important point of your career is on the line, and Serena winds up for a serve. Your heart is already racing because you know statistically, overwhelmingly, an ace is coming. Lena said it best, break point down, 80% chance she serves an ace. Imagine living that nightmare as a professional athlete.
But it wasn't just the serve that broke opponents, it was the inevitability of her dominance. John McEnroe called her comeback ability a gift, but it felt like a curse if you were playing against her. You could be up a set, up a break, feeling confident, and then something would shift. Serena would hit one forehand that sounded different, sharper, more violent, and suddenly you'd realize you were in trouble. Chris Evert described it perfectly. All of a sudden, she's up 2 or 3 levels better than the field. That's the moment when champions became victims. When Serena accessed that extra gear, the match was already over.
The 2017 Australian Open represents the most superhuman achievement in tennis history. Picture this scene. Serena Williams, 8 weeks pregnant, stepping onto Rod Laver Arena for the final against her sister Venus. She doesn't know the world is watching a pregnant woman play professional tennis at the highest level. For 2 weeks, she demolishes the field without dropping a single set, while literally creating life inside her body. She recently admitted, "I don't know how I did that honestly. I remember not being able to run for a long time." She was playing for 2, breathing for 2, competing for 2, and still untouchable. That's not athletic greatness, that's transcendent human achievement.
Then there's the comeback that should be impossible. 2007, Serena Williams ranked 81st in the world, walking into the Australian Open after 2 years in the wilderness. Personal tragedy, injuries, doubts swirling. Most players would be happy to make the second week. Instead, she embarks on a path of destruction that culminates in the final against Maria Sharapova, the world's golden girl, the sport's biggest star. The score? 6-1, 6-2. Serena didn't just win, she obliterated Sharapova so completely it felt like a different sport. Watching that final was like witnessing someone remember they were a god among mortals.
What about the numbers that define her dominance? Dr. Chen, break down why Serena's statistics are in a league of their own.
23 Grand Slam singles titles, the most in the Open era, but that number doesn't capture the violence of her dominance. She held the world #1 ranking for 319 weeks, that's over 6 years of everyone else playing for second place. She's the only player in tennis history to achieve the career Golden Slam in both singles and doubles. She won the Serena Slam twice, holding all 4 major titles simultaneously, once in 2002 to 2003, then again in 2014 to 2015. Think about that, she was so dominant that she had to create new ways to measure her own greatness.
Here's what separates Serena from every other great. She got better with age. Most athletes peak and decline. Serena peaked, declined, then peaked again even higher. She won 10 Grand Slams after turning 30, an age when most players are considering retirement. Her final Grand Slam came at 35 while pregnant. That's not just longevity, that's supernatural excellence sustained across multiple decades. When you watched Serena play, you weren't just watching tennis, you were witnessing the redefinition of what human beings could achieve in competitive sport.
Why does Chris Evert's perspective carry so much weight in declaring Serena the GOAT?
Evert has something no other analyst possesses. She's felt the pressure that breaks champions. She knows what it's like to serve when a Grand Slam hangs in the balance, to walk onto center court with the world watching, to maintain excellence when everyone wants to knock you down. When Evert watches Serena, she's not just seeing results, She's recognizing the mental, physical, and spiritual elements that create sustained greatness. Her declaration isn't opinion, it's expert testimony from someone who lived in that rarefied air.
Evert makes a crucial distinction that casual fans miss. There's a difference between having a great career and being the greatest player. She acknowledges that other legends might have better overall statistics or winning percentages. But when it comes to pure tennis ability, to that moment when everything is on the line and you need superhuman performance, Evert consistently points to Serena. That's recognizing a level of excellence that transcends numbers and enters the realm of athletic mythology.
What does Evert's declaration mean for how we understand greatness in tennis?
Evert's declaration essentially closes the debate. When an 18-time Grand Slam champion with cross-generational perspective makes this call, it carries the weight of historical authority. She's saying that in her decades of playing against and analyzing the greatest players who ever lived, no one reached Serena's peak level of tennis excellence. That's not just an endorsement, that's a definitive verdict from someone uniquely qualified to deliver it.
For current and future athletes, Evert's declaration provides the ultimate blueprint for greatness. When you study Serena's career, you're not just learning tennis, you're studying how to access superhuman performance when everything is on the line. The combination of physical dominance, mental toughness, and clutch performance under ultimate pressure, that's a template for excellence that extends far beyond tennis into any arena where human beings compete at the highest level.
Dr. Chen, Coach Rivera, thank you for breaking down why Chris Evert's GOAT declaration carries so much weight. What we've learned today is that when someone who lived at the pinnacle of tennis makes this call, it's based on witnessing moments that redefined what's possible in human competition. When Serena Williams stepped onto a court at her peak, she didn't just play tennis, she warped reality around her excellence. Winning Grand Slams while pregnant, staging impossible comebacks, serving aces that sounded like thunder when championships hung in the balance. These aren't just athletic accomplishments, they're examples of human transcendence that we may never see again. When Chris Evert says Serena Williams is the undisputed GOAT, she's delivering a verdict based on decades of first-hand knowledge and witnessing greatness that defied the laws of competitive sports. From creating life while creating tennis history, to serving aces that made opponents question their career choices, to dominating different eras with a level of excellence that felt supernatural, Serena Williams didn't just play tennis, she transcended it. The evidence doesn't just speak for itself. It roars with the force of a 128 miles per hour serve. Serena Williams is the greatest tennis player who ever lived.